An overview on this section from the Dialogue of Saint Catherine of Siena. How virtues are proved and fortified by their contraries. This section explains that we can test and strengthen our virtues through interactions with people who embody opposite qualities. For example, we practice patience when dealing with someone who is harming us. We practice humility with a proud person, faith with someone who doesn't believe, hope with someone who is in despair, justice with an unjust person, kindness with a cruel person, and gentleness with an angry person. We learn more about our faith when we see the reasons for someone's lack of faith and continue to hope for their salvation. Good people demonstrate their virtues through their neighbors, just as bad people demonstrate their vices. The section argues that a virtue is truly present when it can withstand challenges. The actual extract from page 15 of the dialogue will now be read to you. Extract from page 15 of the book. How virtues are proved and fortified by their contraries. Up to the present, I have taught you how a man may serve his neighbor and manifest, by that service, the love which he has towards me. Now I wish to tell you further, that a man proves his patience on his neighbor, when he receives injuries from him. Similarly, he proves his humility on a proud man, his faith on an infidel, his true hope on one who despairs, his justice on the unjust, his kindness on the cruel, his gentleness and benignity on the irascible. Good men produce and prove all their virtues on their neighbor, just as perverse men all their vices. Thus, if you consider well, humility is proved on pride in this way. The humble man extinguishes pride, because a proud man can do no harm to a humble one, neither can the infidelity of a wicked man, who neither loves me, nor hopes in me, when brought forth against one who is faithful to me, do him any harm. His infidelity does not diminish the faith or the hope of him who has conceived his faith and hope through love of me, it rather fortifies it, and proves it in the love he feels for his neighbor. For, he sees that the infidel is unfaithful, because he is without hope in me, and in my servant, because he does not love me, placing his faith and hope rather in his own sensuality, which is all that he loves. My faithful servant does not leave him because he does not faithfully love me, or because he does not constantly seek, with hope in me, for his salvation, inasmuch as he sees clearly the causes of his infidelity and lack of hope. The virtue of faith is proved in these and other ways. Wherefore, to those who need the proof of it, my servant proves his faith in himself and in his neighbor, and so, justice is not diminished by the wicked man's injustice, but is rather proved, that is to say, the justice of a just man. Similarly, the virtues of patience, benignity, and kindness manifest themselves in a time of wrath by the same sweet patience in my servants, and envy, vexation, and hatred demonstrate their love, and hunger and desire for the salvation of souls. I say, also, to you, that, not only is virtue proved in those who render good for evil, but, that many times a good man gives back fiery coals of love, which dispel the hatred and rancor of heart of the angry, and so from hatred often comes benevolence, and that this is by virtue of the love and perfect patience which is in him, who sustains the anger of the wicked, bearing and supporting his defects. If you will observe the virtues of fortitude and perseverance, these virtues are proved by the long endurance of the injuries and detractions of wicked men, who, whether by injuries or by flattery, constantly endeavor to turn a man aside from following the road and the doctrine of truth. Wherefore, in all these things, the virtue of fortitude conceived within the soul, perseveres with strength, and, in addition proves itself externally upon the neighbor, as I have said to you. And, if fortitude were not able to make that good proof of itself, being tested by many contrarieties, it would not be a serious virtue founded in truth.
Origin and communication in the Dialogue of Saint Catherine of Siena. The Dialogue of Saint Catherine of Siena was dictated by Saint Catherine to her secretaries while she was in a state of ecstasy. She experienced these ecstatic states in 1370. This means that the text was composed while she was experiencing a mystical state of spiritual connection with God, during which she believed she was directly communicating with God the Father. The book is considered a classic work of Italian literature, comparable to the writings of Boccaccio and Petrarch. Despite the mystical nature of its origin, the dialogue is rooted in Catholic teachings and explores fundamental concepts of Christian life and practice that were accessible to ordinary people. The dialogue begins by describing how a soul, seeking a deeper connection with God, engages in prayer and self-reflection, leading to a state of union with God through love. This process allows the soul to see the world through God's eyes, recognizing the pervasiveness of sin and the need for reform in the Church. When St. Catherine, the soul in the dialogue, expresses her longing for God to intervene and bring about reform, God responds directly to her pleas. God explains that He allows suffering and trials as a means of correction and purification, and emphasizes the importance of seeking knowledge of oneself and of God. Throughout the dialogue, God communicates with St. Catherine through direct speech, often engaging in extended conversations with her. God uses vivid metaphors and imagery, such as the bridge of the sacred humanity, to explain complex spiritual concepts. He answers St. Catherine's questions about the nature of virtue, sin, and salvation, and provides guidance on how to navigate the challenges of spiritual life. He also reveals his sorrow over the state of the Church and his desire for reform, emphasizing the importance of prayer and perseverance on the part of his followers. St. Catherine's ecstasies serve as the framework for this divine communication, facilitating her direct dialogue with God and allowing her to receive his teachings and insights. These insights, recorded by her secretaries, form the basis of the dialogue of St. Catherine of Siena, a testament to her profound mystical experiences and her dedication to spiritual growth and reform within the Church.